The time is here again when we discuss end-year company results. While some companies rave about their annual profits, some reflect upon the dismal year gone by. Meanwhile, the arrival of annual results sparks yet another round of debate over executive compensation. Who were the highest paid CEOs? How many executives made more than $1 million? Who received the biggest raises? All these questions take center stage. But what if, amidst the compensation debate, a company announced it would cut the CEO's pay rather than increasing it by leaps and bounds? That's not a common scenario, but Singapore-based DBS Group has done just that. CEO Piyush Gupta has taken a pay cut of 30% on his variable pay. That's equivalent to more than $3 million. Meanwhile, the variable compensation for the firm's senior management was also slashed. Collectively, they took a pay cut of 21% compared to last year, and that is despite clocking in a record annual profit. For the full year, DBS's net profit jumped by 26% to about $7 billion. DBS is the largest bank in Southeast Asia. In 2022, Gupta was the highest paid CEO in Singapore. His pay amounted to around $11 million. So why the sudden pay cut? The company said it was implemented to hold the upper echelon accountable, that is, for the losses incurred due to disruptions in digital banking last year. The pay cuts are also expected to offset some of the firm's other operational costs, and analysts argue it is emblematic of the bank's conviction to further minimize disruptions. Last year, DBS had around 5 major disruptions in its network of services. Customers faced problems with accessing its mobile application. Some were also unable to use cards to make payments. The lender said it had committed about $60 million to uplift technology. The bank added that it will also put its employees through rigorous training to minimize human error. This comes amidst a larger debate over executive paychecks. The most recent example is the world's richest person, Elon Musk. Last month, a US judge scrapped Musk's record-breaking $56 billion pay package. The judge called Musk's compensation, quote-unquote, an unfathomable sum. According to a report, no CEO of a publicly traded US company has ever been paid this much.
Look, I think they definitely had a bullseye on their back in terms of Musk and Tesla. It's obviously unprecedented, but Musk has created hundreds of billions of dollars of value. The question is, what comp should he get? This definitely opens up Pandora's box in terms of excessive compensation with CEOs.
On average, CEOs get paid about 200 times more than their typical employees. But even by that measure, Musk's pay package was an eye-opener. Now, with this ruling, Musk risks losing the top spot on the list of the world's richest persons. That is, if it survives a potential appeal. Critics have long argued that CEO pay packages are exorbitant. In the nuanced world of executive compensation, these numbers barely show how much the CEO takes home. They're just an estimate of the compensation package's value. That's because in almost all cases, they are tied to the stock price, which means the final value may exceed or fall far below those figures.
I think Wall Street's frustrated. It's uncertainty at a time where this was approved by 80% of shareholders. No one thought almost 6 years later that we'd be dealing with this. And it just adds to some of the challenges that's happening in the Tesla story right now.
To understand this better, here's a comparison. The median compensation for the CEO of an S&P 500 company is reportedly somewhere around $14.8 million, and a typical worker at one of these companies will need more than 185 years to earn what the CEO does in just 12 months. And in Musk's case, it would take a minimum wage worker in the US roughly 3.6 million years to earn that money. While it may be argued that Piyush Gupta's move is the bare minimum that any company can do, it perhaps is still a decent start to address pay parity. The CEO's move offers a fresh perspective, which will hopefully change the industry for good.
From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, But above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America.